The distress signal had been pulsing for 3 days when Marcus Chun finally found it. His ship, the Quiet Mercy, was old and slow, but she had good sensors. The signal came from a small moon called Kellis 7. Nobody lived there. Nobody wanted to. It was just rocks and dust and silence. Marcus was a salvage pilot. He flew alone through the empty parts of space, looking for broken ships and crashed vessels. He would take what he could sell and leave the rest. It was not exciting work, but it was honest. He liked the quiet. He liked being alone with his thoughts and his music and the endless stars. When he landed on Kellis 7, he expected to find wreckage, twisted metal, maybe some cargo he could sell at the next station. What he found instead made his blood turn cold. The ship had crashed hard. It had torn a long scar across the moon's gray surface before finally stopping against a ridge of black rock. The hull was broken open like an egg. Smoke still rose from the engines, which meant the crash was recent. Very recent. Marcus pulled on his environment suit and stepped out of his ship. The moon had no air, so he moved carefully, his boots crunching on the rocky ground. He approached the wreckage with his scanner held out in front of him. The ship's design made him stop walking. He knew this shape. Everyone knew this shape. It was a Varaki scout vessel. The Varaki were legends, nightmares, stories that pilots told each other in dark bars on distant stations. They were a species of hunters, 8 feet tall, covered in thick fur like wolves from old Earth. They had claws that could tear through metal and teeth that could crush bone. For 1,000 years, they had been the apex predators of the Orion Arm. Other species built weapons to fight them. Most species simply ran. Marcus should have returned to his ship. He should have left immediately and reported the crash to the authorities. That was the smart thing to do. That was what any sane person would do. But the distress signal was still pulsing. Someone had survived. He moved closer to the wreckage. The hull was torn open on one side, and he could see into the dark interior. Emergency lights flickered red inside. He heard something moving in the shadows. Then it appeared. The Varaki dragged itself out of the broken ship, and Marcus felt every survival instinct in his body scream at him to run. The creature was massive, easily 8 feet tall even while hunched over in pain. Its fur was silver black, but much of it was now matted with blood. The blood was violet, almost purple. It dripped onto the gray rocks and steamed in the cold. The alien's golden eyes locked onto Marcus. For a long moment, neither of them moved. The Varaki's lips pulled back from its teeth, revealing fangs as long as Marcus's fingers. A deep growl came from its chest, vibrating through the thin atmosphere and into Marcus's suit. The universal translator in Marcus's helmet crackled. The growl became words, rough and broken. "Stay back. Stay back or I will kill you." Marcus looked at the creature. He saw the wounds on its body, deep cuts across its chest, one arm hanging at a wrong angle, a piece of metal still stuck in its leg. This was not a predator ready to hunt. This was a wounded animal, terrified and in pain. Marcus did something strange, something that made no sense. He smiled. The Varaki's growl faltered. Its ears, which had been flat against its skull, twitched with confusion. In every corner of the galaxy, baring teeth was a threat. It was a promise of violence. But this small, soft creature was showing its teeth, and somehow it did not feel like aggression. Marcus raised his hands slowly, showing that they were empty. He had a pistol on his belt, but he did not reach for it. Instead, he took a careful step forward. "Easy there, big guy," he said. His voice was calm, steady, like he was talking to a frightened dog instead of an alien that could tear him in half. "I am not here to hurt you." The Varaki snarled again, but there was less strength in it now. "You are human. That is right. Humans are weak, small, prey." Marcus took another step closer. Maybe, but right now, you are the one bleeding on the ground, and I am the one with a medical kit on my ship. The alien's golden eyes narrowed. It did not understand. In Viraki culture, the wounded were abandoned. Weakness meant death. If you could not keep up with the pack, you were left behind. That was the way of things. That was how it had always been. Why would this tiny creature approach a predator? Why would it offer help instead of running? It made no sense. I could kill you, the Viraki said. Even wounded, I could tear you apart. Probably, Marcus agreed. He was close now, only a few meters away. Close enough that the alien could reach him in a single lunge. But you will not. How do you know this? Marcus looked into those golden eyes. He saw pain there, fear, loneliness, things he recognized, things he understood. Because you are scared, he said softly, and you are hurt, and you have been alone in that ship for 3 days, wondering if anyone would come, wondering if you would die here on this empty rock with nobody to remember you. He crouched down slowly, making himself smaller, less threatening. I know that feeling. I think everyone does. The Viraki stared at him. Its claws flexed, then relaxed. The growl in its chest faded into something that sounded almost like a question. You are not afraid of me? Marcus smiled again, that strange, warm expression that the alien could not understand. I am terrified of you, he admitted. But you need help, and I have help to give. So, here I am. He reached out his hand, palm up, offering it to the creature that could end his life in a heartbeat. You are safe with me, Marcus said. I promise. I will not bite. For a long moment, nothing happened. The Viraki looked at the offered hand. It looked at the human's face. It saw no deception there. No hidden weapons. No trap dot. It saw only kindness. Simple, impossible kindness. Slowly, carefully, the great alien lowered itself to the ground. Its golden eyes never left the human's face. I am called Kethvir, it said quietly. In your language, it means Silent Fang. I am Marcus. The human moved closer, already pulling medical supplies from his belt. Let us get you patched up, Keth. Then we can figure out what comes next. The Viraki did not understand this creature, did not understand its courage or its kindness or its strange, terrifying smile. But as the human began to tend its wounds with gentle hands, Kethvir felt something it had never felt before. In its long life of hunting and killing and survival, it felt safe. 47 hours had passed since Marcus brought the alien aboard his ship. 47 hours of bandages and biosealant and careful, patient work. 47 hours of the Viraki, watching the human with golden eyes full of suspicion. The medical bay of the Quiet Mercy was small. It was designed for one person, not for an 8-foot wolf creature that barely fit on the reinforced gurney. Kethvir lay there with straps across its chest and legs, not because Marcus had forced them, but because the alien had asked for them. It did not trust itself. It did not trust its instincts around this strange, fragile creature. Marcus worked quietly, cleaning a deep wound on the Viraki's shoulder. The alien's fur was thick and coarse, and getting the biosealant to stick properly was difficult. But Marcus did not complain. He did not rush. He simply worked, humming a tuneless melody under his breath. What is that sound? Kethvir asked. Oh, the humming. Marcus shrugged without looking up. It is just something humans do. Helps us think. Keeps us calm. It is strange. Most things about us are strange. The Viraki watched the human's hands. They were small hands, soft and pink with no claws. How did this species survive? How did they hunt? How did they defend themselves against predators? Your people, Kethvir said slowly. Do they always travel alone? Without a pack? Marcus thought about the question. Sometimes. Humans are flexible. We can live in big groups or small groups or alone. We adapt to what we need. Adapt. The word felt strange in the Varaki's mouth. This is a human concept? I suppose so. We are not the strongest or the fastest. We do not have claws or fangs or thick fur. So we learn to change, to use tools, to think our way out of problems instead of fighting our way out. He finished applying the biosealant and reached for a clean bandage. It has worked pretty well so far. Kethvior's ears twitched. In its culture, adaptation was weakness. A true predator did not change to fit the world. A true predator forced the world to change for them. That was strength. That was power. But looking at this small human, working so carefully to save the life of a creature that could kill him easily, the Varaki began to wonder if strength meant something different than it had always believed. You are small, Kethvior said. Soft. You have no natural weapons. No armor. No venom. Its lip curled slightly, showing a fang. How is your species not extinct? Marcus laughed. It was a strange sound, sharp and quick, and it made the Varaki's ears flatten with surprise. We get asked that a lot, Marcus said. The answer is complicated. But mostly, I think, we are just too stubborn to die. The universe keeps trying to kill us, and we keep refusing to cooperate. Stubborn. Another strange word. It means we do not give up. Even when we should. Even when it makes no sense. Marcus finished wrapping the bandage and stepped back to examine his work. There. That should heal nicely in a few days. Your biology is impressive. You heal much faster than humans do. Kethvior looked down at the bandage. It was clean and white against its dark fur. The human had done good work. Careful work. The kind of work that took time and attention and skill. Why? The question escaped before the Varaki could stop it. Marcus tilted his head. Why what? Why are you doing this? Kethva's voice was rough, confused. I am Varaki. Your species fears mine. Everyone fears mine. When we enter a system, ships flee. When we board a station, people hide. We are predators, killers, monsters. Marcus pulled up a small chair and sat down beside the gurney. He looked tired, the Varaki realized. There were dark circles under his eyes. He had not slept since bringing the alien aboard. Do you want me to be afraid of you? Marcus asked. The question surprised Kethva. I do not know. I am asking why you are not. Marcus was quiet for a moment. He seemed to be thinking carefully about his answer. When I was young, he said finally, I had a dog. Do you know what a dog is? Kethvior shook its head. They are animals from Earth, our home world. They look a little like you, actually. 4 legs, fur, sharp teeth. Thousands of years ago, dogs were wild predators. They hunted in packs. They were dangerous. What happened to them? Humans happened to them. Marcus smiled that strange smile again. We did not kill them or drive them away. Instead, we made friends with them. We fed them. We gave them shelter. We earned their trust. And over time, they became part of our families. They became loyal to us. They protected us. They loved us. Kethva stared at the human. You tamed predators? We did not tame them. We befriended them. There's a difference. Marcus leaned forward slightly. Humans have done this with many species. Dogs, cats, horses, hawks. We see something dangerous and we think, maybe we can be friends with that. Maybe we can take care of it, and it will take care of us. That is insane. Probably. Marcus shrugged. But it works. And I think maybe that is what humans are best at. Not fighting. Not conquering, just connecting, finding common ground with creatures that are different from us. The Varaki was silent for a long time. Its golden eyes studied the human's face, looking for deception, for hidden motives. It found nothing but honesty. "I have killed many beings," HFY said quietly. "Many species. I have hunted and fought and destroyed. This is what Varaki do. This is what we are." "That is what you were," Marcus said gently. "It does not have to be what you are. You do not know that." "No, I do not. But I believe it." Marcus stood up and stretched his tired muscles. "Now you need to rest. Your body needs time to heal. I will be in the cockpit if you need anything." He turned to leave, but the Varaki's voice stopped him. "Human, Marcus." He looked back. HFY struggled with the words. In its language, there was no word for what it wanted to say. Gratitude was weakness. Thanking someone meant admitting you needed them. But the human deserved something. Some acknowledgement of what it had done. "I do not understand you," the Varaki finally said. "I do not understand your kindness or your courage or your strange, peaceful madness. But I am glad you found me." Marcus smiled. It was warm and genuine and completely without fear. "Get some rest, Keth. We have a long journey ahead." He left the medical bay, and the Varaki lay there in the quiet hum of the ship. Staring at the ceiling dot, it had lived for over 200 years. It had seen countless worlds and fought countless battles and killed more beings than it could remember. But in all that time, no one had ever treated it with simple kindness. No one had ever looked at it and seen something other than a monster dot until now. HFY closed its golden eyes and, for the first time in its long life, slept without watching for danger. It was safe here. The human had promised. The alarms woke Marcus from a shallow sleep. Red lights flashed across the cockpit, and a harsh beeping filled the small space. He was on his feet in seconds, his hands moving across the control panel before his eyes were fully open. 3 ships. The sensors showed 3 ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel, appearing in normal space like sharks rising from dark water. They were arranged in a hunting pattern, spreading out to cut off escape routes. Marcus felt his stomach drop. He knew those ship designs. Everyone in this part of the galaxy knew them. Crixians. The Crixians were slavers. They traveled in packs, hunting for prey in the empty spaces between stations and colonies. They took prisoners and sold them to the highest bidder. Fighting pits, mines, factories, worse things that Marcus did not like to think about. The Quiet Mercy was a salvage ship. She was old and slow and had almost no weapons. Running was impossible. Fighting was suicide. Marcus heard heavy footsteps behind him. HFY War appeared in the cockpit doorway, still limping, one arm wrapped in bandages and held against its chest. The Varaki's golden eyes were alert, scanning the sensor display. "Slavers," HFY said. It was not a question. "Yes, 3 ships. They must have spotted us while we were traveling at sublight speed." Marcus's jaw was tight, but his hands were steady on the controls. "I am sorry. I should have been more careful." The Varaki moved closer, studying the tactical display. Its ears were flat against its skull, and Marcus could see its muscles tensing beneath the bandages. "Can you run?" HFY asked. "Not fast enough. They have already spread out to block us. If I try to run, they will cut us off. Can you fight?" Marcus laughed, but there was no humor in it. "This ship has one small laser cannon. It was designed to cut apart wreckage, not to fight warships." Silence filled the cockpit. Outside the viewport, the 3 Crixian vessels were moving closer, their hulls gleaming like metal teeth in the starlight. "Then release me," HFY said. Marcus turned to look at the alien. What? Open an airlock. Let me drift. They will detect my life signs. A Viraki prisoner is worth more than 100 humans. They will take me and leave you alone. Marcus stared at the massive creature. The Viraki's face was calm, decided. It had made peace with this plan already. You want me to throw you out of my ship so they will capture you instead of me? Yes, it is logical. You saved my life. I owe you a debt. This will clear it. No. The word was flat and hard. Kethvior's ears twitched with surprise. Human, you do not understand. The Crixians will take us both. They will sell us both. I am offering you a chance to survive, and I am refusing it. Marcus turned back to the controls, his fingers moving quickly. We are not doing that. We are not sacrificing anyone. This is foolish. I am one wounded Viraki. You are one small human with no weapons. Against 3 warships. Kethvior's voice rose with frustration. What do you think you can do? Marcus was quiet for a moment. His hands stopped moving. When he spoke, his voice was different, softer, more dangerous. In human culture, he said slowly, there is a saying. When someone becomes part of your family, part of your pack, you do not leave them behind. Ever. No matter what. I am not your family. Marcus looked at the Viraki with those strange soft eyes. You are now. Kethvar did not know how to respond. The words made no sense. They had known each other for 3 days. 3 days of bandages and bioselant and quiet conversations in the medical bay. How could that make them family? But the human was not finished. When I was young, my father told me something. He said that humans are not the strongest species in the galaxy. We are not the fastest or the smartest or the most dangerous. But we are the most stubborn. When we decide that something matters to us, we do not let it go. We hold on with everything we have, even when it hurts, even when it seems hopeless. He turned back to the controls. You matter to me now, Keth. I do not know why. I do not know how. But you do. And I am not going to let slavers take you. Not while I am still breathing. The communication system crackled. A harsh voice filled the cockpit, speaking in broken galactic common. Salvage vessel. This is Crixian Patrol. You will power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Resist and you will be destroyed. Marcus looked at the sensor display. The 3 ships were closer now. He could see their weapons charging, red lights blinking on the tactical screen. He smiled. Kethvar felt a chill run down its spine. It had seen that smile before, in the wreckage on Kella 7. It had not understood it then. It was beginning to understand it now. What are you planning? The Viraki asked. Something stupid, Marcus admitted. Something very, very stupid. He opened a channel to the Crixian ships. When he spoke, his voice was cheerful, almost friendly. Crixian Patrol, this is the salvage vessel Quiet Mercy. I hear you want to board us. That sounds great, really. But here is the thing. I have a Viraki on board. A big one. Very angry. Lots of teeth. The Crixian voice hesitated. We know. That is why we are here. Surrender the Viraki, and we will let you live. Tempting offer. Really tempting. But I am going to have to decline. Marcus's smile grew wider. See, this Viraki is mine now. Part of my crew. And humans have this funny thing about our crews. We get a little crazy when people threaten them. You are one ship. You have no weapons. You cannot fight us. That is true. Marcus began entering commands into the navigation computer. I cannot fight you. But I can do something else. Something humans are very good at. What is that? Marcus looked at Kethvia. The Viraki saw something in those soft human eyes that it had never seen before. Not madness. Not desperation. Something older. Something harder. Purpose. I can make sure that taking us costs you more than we are worth, Marcus said. I can make sure that even if you win, you lose. He closed the communication channel and turned to the Viraki. Strap in. Keth, things are about to get interesting. The Quiet Mercy's engines roared to life, and the little salvage ship shot forward toward the three warships like a stone thrown at wolves. And Kethvio, for the first time in its life, understood what humans meant when they talked about courage. Thought it was not the absence of fear, that it was fear that refused to surrender. The Crixians made their first mistake when they let the Quiet Mercy get close. They were not worried. Why would they be? It was a salvage ship with no weapons, piloted by a single human. It was prey, easy prey. They did not understand what they were dealing with. Marcus had spent 15 years flying through the empty spaces between stars. He had boarded hundreds of wrecked ships, crawling through broken hulls and shattered corridors. He knew ships. He knew how they were built, how they worked, where they were strong and where they were weak. He knew how to break them. The Quiet Mercy did not try to run. It did not try to hide. Instead, it flew directly at the lead Crixian vessel, engines burning hot, moving faster than a salvage ship had any right to move. What are you doing? Kethvar gripped the seat restraints, its claws leaving marks in the metal. Watch, Marcus said, at the last moment. The Quiet Mercy twisted sideways and scraped along the hull of the Crixian warship. Sparks flew. Metal screamed against metal. The larger ship rocked from the impact, its weapons unable to track the small vessel pressed against its side. And as they scraped past, Marcus fired the salvage laser. Not at the ship's armor, not at its weapons. At a small, almost invisible panel near the engine section. What was that? Kethvio asked. Fuel manifold access panel. Every Crixian ship has one. It is a design flaw they have never fixed because nobody gets close enough to use it. Marcus was already pulling away, his hands dancing across the controls. Give it a moment. Behind them, the lead Crixian vessel shuddered. Then its engines flickered. Then they died completely. The ship began to drift, powerless, its weapons going dark. The communication channel exploded with angry Crixian voices. The other two ships broke formation, confused, unsure whether to pursue the small salvage vessel or help their crippled companion. Marcus used that confusion. He flew between the two remaining ships, moving with a precision that should have been impossible for such an old vessel. The Quiet Mercy was slow in open space, yes, but in close quarters, in the chaos of a damaged battlefield, it was nimble, responsive. It could turn and twist in ways that larger warships could not match. This is insane, Kethvar said. Its golden eyes were wide, tracking the battle through the viewport. You are flying circles around warships. Salvage pilots learn to fly through debris fields, Marcus explained, his voice calm despite everything. Spinning wreckage, unstable structures, tight spaces. After that, flying around angry slavers is almost relaxing. He fired the salvage laser again, this time at the second ship. He hit the antenna array, destroying their long-range communications in a shower of sparks. Now they cannot call for help, Marcus said. 1 down, 2 to go. But the third Crixian ship was learning. It pulled back, putting distance between itself and the dangerous little salvage vessel. Its weapons charged, preparing to fire from a safe range. Marcus saw this. He had expected it. Keth, I need you to do something for me. What? I need you to trust me. The Viraki looked at the human. Outside, the third Crixian ship was taking aim. Inside, Marcus was entering new commands into the navigation system. His face was calm. His hands were steady. I trust you, Kethvio said. Marcus smiled. Good. Hold on. The Quiet Mercy shot forward again, but this time it was not heading for the third ship. It was heading for the first one, the dead one, the one drifting powerless in space. "What are you doing?" HFY demanded. "Salvage pilot, remember? I know how to board ships." The Quiet Mercy attached itself to the crippled Crixian vessel with a grinding clang. Marcus was out of his seat before the docking clamps finished sealing. He grabbed a tool belt and a small bag from a storage locker. "Stay here," he told HFY. "Watch the sensors. If the third ship tries anything, tell me through the communicator. You are boarding a slaver ship, alone, with no weapons." Marcus held up the tool belt. "I have weapons, just not the kind they are expecting." He disappeared through the airlock before HFY could argue. The interior of the Crixian ship was dark. Emergency lights flickered red. The crew was confused, shouting at each other, trying to restore power. They did not notice the small human moving through the shadows. Marcus did not fight them. He did not need to. Instead, he moved through the ship like a ghost, touching nothing, disturbing nothing, until he reached the main engineering section. The Crixians had left it unguarded. They were all running to the weapon systems, to the bridge, to the places they thought mattered. They did not understand that the heart of any ship was its engineering section. Marcus worked quickly. He cut wires. He rerouted power conduits. He opened panels that should have been locked and made small, careful adjustments to systems that the Crixians would not notice until it was too late. His communicator crackled. "Marcus, the third ship is moving. It is coming toward us. How long?" "Minutes. Maybe less. That is enough." Marcus finished his work and ran. He ran back through the dark corridors, past confused Crixian crew members who did not even see him, back to the airlock, back to his ship. He sealed the airlock and threw himself into the pilot's seat, just as the third Crixian vessel came into firing range. "What did you do?" HFY asked. "I gave them a choice." Marcus began undocking from the crippled ship. Their friend's life support is now tied to their weapon systems. If they fire at us, they kill their own crew. HFY stared at him. "How did you know how to do that?" "Salvage pilots know ships." Marcus pulled the Quiet Mercy away from the drifting vessel. "We know how things connect, how systems depend on each other, how to take apart what others have built." The third Crixian ship stopped. Its weapons powered down. Marcus could imagine the chaos on their bridge. The arguments, the calculations. He opened a communication channel. "Crixian vessels. This is the salvage ship, Quiet Mercy. Here is what is going to happen. You are going to let us leave. You are going to take your friends and go home. And you are going to tell everyone you meet what happened here today." Silence on the channel. Then a voice, tight with anger. "You are one human, in a salvage ship. You think you have one? I think I have shown you what happens when you threaten my crew." Marcus's voice was soft, but there was steel beneath it. "I am not a warrior. I am not a soldier. I am just a pilot who knows how things work. Imagine what would happen if you made me angry enough to stop being careful." More silence. Then the third ship's engines powered up. It began moving toward its crippled companion. "This is not over, human." "Yes, it is." Marcus closed the channel. The Quiet Mercy turned away from the Crixian vessels and began moving toward open space. Behind them, the slavers collected their damaged friend and disappeared into the darkness. HFY sat in silence for a long time. It had watched everything through the viewport, through the sensors. It had seen what the human had done, not with strength, not with weapons, with knowledge, with patience, with a kind of quiet, terrifying intelligence. "You could have died," the Viraki finally said. "Yes, you risked everything. For me, Yes, why? Marcus turned to look at the massive alien. His face was tired but peaceful. Because you are my crew. And humans do not abandon our crew. HFY felt something shift inside its chest. Something it had no name for. Something that felt like the beginning of a new world. Humans, it said quietly, are terrifying. Marcus smiled that strange, soft smile. We get that a lot. 3 weeks had passed since the fight with the Crixian slavers. 3 weeks of quiet travel through peaceful space, of healing wounds and long conversations, of learning to share a small ship with someone very different. They had reached way station Theta 9, a large trading station where thousands of species came to buy and sell and rest. It hung in space like a spinning wheel of lights, beautiful against the black emptiness. Marcus stood on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. He came here often when they were docked at stations. He liked to watch the ships come and go, to imagine where they were heading, what stories they carried. He heard the heavy footsteps behind him. He did not need to turn around to know who it was. HFY came to stand beside him. The Varaki was fully healed now. Its fur was clean and shining, its wounds closed into thin scars hidden beneath the silver-black coat. It moved without pain, without hesitation. It was once again the apex predator had always been, but something was different about it. Something in its eyes. Something in the way it carried itself. Your wounds have healed, Marcus said, double quotes, yes. I am whole again. HFY's voice was deep, rumbling. I am able to return to my people. Marcus nodded slowly. He had known this moment would come. He had prepared for it. But knowing something and feeling it were different things. I have arranged passage for you, he said. A merchant guild vessel is leaving tomorrow for Varaki space. They have agreed to take you as far as the border. From there, you should be able to find your way home. The Varaki was silent for a long moment. It stood there, massive and still, looking out at the same stars that Marcus watched. Your kind confuses me, HFY finally said. Marcus smiled. I know. You have said that before. Let me finish. The alien turned to face the human. Your kind confuses me. You show your teeth when you are happy, which is very strange. You care for wounded enemies instead of killing them. You fight without hatred, and you kill without joy. You make families from strangers you have known for only days. That does sound confusing when you say it out loud. HFY's golden eyes were intense, searching. In my culture, strength is everything. The strong survive. The weak fall behind. We do not form bonds with creatures outside our blood pack. We do not risk our lives for strangers. We do not love things that could destroy us. And yet here we are, Marcus said softly. Yes, here we are. The Varaki took a step closer, towering over the small human. When I was young, I was taught that humans were prey. Small, soft, weak creatures that we could hunt and kill whenever we wished. The galaxy believed this. Everyone believed this. And now? HFY was quiet for a moment. When it spoke again, its voice was different, softer, almost uncertain. Now I think the galaxy was wrong. I think everyone was wrong. Humans are not prey. Its lips pulled back slightly, showing the tips of its fangs. Humans are something far more dangerous. What are we then? I do not know yet, but I would like to find out. Marcus felt something warm bloom in his chest. Hope maybe, or something like it. The Merchant Guild ship leaves tomorrow, he said carefully. You should probably get ready. I will not be on that ship. Marcus blinked. What? HFY lowered itself slowly, bending its legs until its golden eyes were level with the human's brown ones. This close, Marcus could see every detail of the alien's face. The scars beneath its fur, the ancient wisdom in its gaze. The quiet strength that had nothing to do with muscles or claws. My people have packs, the Varaki said. Families bound by blood and strength and the hunt. We are born into these packs. We die in these packs. It is the only way we know. It sounds lonely, Marcus said. It is. I never realized how lonely until I met you. Kethvo extended one massive hand, claws retracted, palm up. Your people have a different kind of pack. Families built not from blood, but from choice. From loyalty to strangers. From love that does not ask permission or make sense. Marcus looked at the offered hand. He remembered the first time he had extended his own hand on that barren moon to a wounded predator that could have killed him in a heartbeat. I would learn this way, Kethveo said quietly. I would learn to build a family from choice instead of blood. I would learn what it means to be human. You are not human, Marcus pointed out. No, but I think, perhaps, I could learn to be part of a human pack. The Varaki's voice was rough with something that might have been emotion. If you would have me. Marcus stood there for a long moment. He thought about his life before. The loneliness. The empty spaces. The years of traveling alone through the void, talking to no one, belonging nowhere. He thought about the past 3 weeks. The conversations. The laughter. The feeling of having someone beside him who understood, who cared, who chose to stay. He reached out and clasped the Varaki's hand. It was huge compared to his, rough and warm and strong. But the grip was gentle, careful, the grip of someone who did not want to hurt. Welcome to the crew, Keth. Marcus smiled that strange, wonderful smile. We are glad to have you. Kethvyor felt something break loose in its chest. Something that had been locked away for 200 years of hunting and killing and survival. It felt like freedom. It felt like coming home. I will learn your ways, the Varaki said. I will protect your pack as if it were my blood. Just try not to bite anyone. Kethvar's muzzle split into something that the translator could not quite understand. It looked strange on the alien's face, unfamiliar, but somehow, impossibly, right dotted looked like a smile. Only if they threatened my pack, Kethvir said. They stood there together. Human and Varaki, looking out at the endless stars. Two creatures from opposite ends of the galaxy. Two predators, apex in their own ways. Two lonely souls who had looked at each other across the vast gulf of species and biology and culture and had decided, against all logic, to become family. The Quiet Mercy left Way Station Theta 9 the next morning. The station records listed 2 crew members now instead of 1. Marcus Chun, pilot. Kethvor, security specialist. But the records could not capture what they really were. The records could not explain how a wounded predator and a lonely human had found each other in the wreckage of a crashed ship and had built something new. Something stronger than blood. Something deeper than instinct. The galaxy had not yet learned what happened when humanity started adopting the monsters, but they would. Ships that crossed paths with the Quiet Mercy began telling stories. Stories about the small human and his 8-foot wolf companion. Stories about the strange pair who helped stranded travelers and faced down pirates and refused to leave anyone behind. The stories spread from station to station, from system to system. They changed as stories always do, growing larger and stranger with each telling. But at the heart of every story was the same truth. Humans were not what the galaxy thought they were. They were not prey. They were not weak. They were something else entirely. They were the species that smiled at predators and made them family. And that, the galaxy was slowly realizing, made them the most terrifying creatures of all dawn, not because they could kill, but because they could love. Even the monsters, especially the monsters.